of England on the internet right around the world 24 hours a day, not continuously, but depending on where you are in the world, it's 24 hours. We'll get on to that. And we're doing this first show today. We're doing it from Jazz Ahead in Bremen. Now, it's quite a daunting task to have the thought of to be live streaming 5 days of jazz, 4 shows a day. I mean, it's over 100 musicians. I mean, I haven't added up the hours, but there's a lot of music. So I've managed to invite someone to come and help co-host the week with me. So please let me introduce my co-host for the week. It's Magdalena.
Hello, I'm Magdalena from Polish Radio, Magdalena Fiałkowska, and I'm really excited to join you here. It's a very interesting and innovative idea. Present Northern online broadcasts.
Absolutely, I totally agree. And it's really quite fitting because the whole point about the Northern Online broadcast is the fact we're not just broadcasting to the north of England, with the internet and streaming. This could be going anywhere. I hope my friend Dave, who's in Botswana, last time we did a live stream, he was on a bus and he said, "Hey Nigel, I'm on a bus listening to your live stream." So if you're out there, Dave, come and say hello. And likewise, if you're in another part of the world, just say as well, you'll find online on the Jazz North website and also on our Facebook page, we've got a program listing. On the left side of the listing, we've put the handy time zone. So for example, this is 8 o'clock in the morning now, but if you are in, I have to put my glasses on for this. So it is 10 o'clock, where is it 10 o'clock? So we're in 10 o'clock in Helsinki.
If it's 8 o'clock in Dublin, then it's 10 o'clock in Vilnius, for instance, and 2 p.m. in Bangkok.
Wow. Hey, and do you know what? It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Tokyo. So hey, hi Tokyo, hi from the north end of England to the Northern Line. So hey, it's really great that you're joining us, and so you can listen to us at any time of the day. It's a bit of a rough deal if you're in Los Angeles right now. Oh, Los Angeles, it's not bad. It's midnight. We could cope with that, couldn't we? Yeah. Okay, look, let's get on with it. So, what's Northern Line all about? I'm sure it's a question you want to know.
Definitely, because when I met you at first, I thought that you're from some kind of a festival that's called Northern Online or Jazz North, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting. Now, we didn't call it a festival because I feel that a festival has to be people meeting together, and I feel the internet is we're all on our own, sitting there with our mobile phone or at our laptop, or we're having a sneak at work, having a look at the internet, and I think it'd be ingenuous to call it a festival. And also, I think it's another thing I should say about this Northern Line. I think streaming jazz is great, but we don't want people to be staying at home and not going to jazz gigs. So this is to do when you're not at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's definitely not a jazz gig. Okay, so what I ought to do is just talk about the day we've got planned ahead. So the first band we've got coming up for you very shortly is Family Band, and now this is great. It's a cordless quartet, and so they're not playing any standards. Magdalena's looking at me, kind of curious. What exactly does that mean, Nigel?
I was just wondering if they're a family band or if they're just friends band, or what's about the family here.
That's a really good question, and the answer is that they all met at Music College in Leeds College of Music. Quite a few years ago now, and they were friends at college, and they've stayed friends. In fact, Kim and Riley, the 2 lead horns on trumpet and tenor sax, they're married as well now, so it's led.
So yes, it is a family band indeed, and you know what? I think it's a very good and very organic way to form a band through friendship.
Yeah, I think like a lot of things in life, they have to be, if they're unforced, and it's good to have similar interests, and their musical interests are similar. But what you're going to watch out for in this band is the fact that they've composed some short motifs. It's like in the Man of Ornette Coleman, so they're little short motifs that they play in unison, and then it can go anywhere, and that they've got no set plan because they know each other and they trust each other. The music can go anywhere, but it has a driving force, like a life force, and you have total confidence in them that they're not going to let you down. It's going to be a really positive experience.
So now the question is, they trust each other, but does the audience trust you enough to follow your choice? I hope they will.
Well, that's interesting. We found that the jazz promoters that have booked them so far, they have really enjoyed it, and they found it a really positive experience. And some of the older audiences, who can sometimes be a bit risk adverse, they have really enjoyed it. So it's a great band, and they're still available to book if you're in the north of England until the end of the year. And also, if you want to have them to come and play in Tokyo or Istanbul or Honolulu. I mean, Honolulu, I hadn't seen that. 9 o'clock in Honolulu. Hey, Honolulu. Here we are. Honolulu.
You should definitely check out the family band.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another of Jazz North's Northern Line presentations at the Manchester Jazz Festival. The Manchester Jazz Festival, you probably know, is one of 17 festivals that take place around the north of England. And if you ever need to check out where they are and which month they run in, this leaflet, which is scattered around the place, is very, very useful sometime next year. Anyway, enough from me. This is a band led by a bass player, and it's a band with no chordal instrument, no piano, no guitar, so it needs to have a really great bass player at its foundation. Luckily, that's not the only great musician it consists of. This is a band full of absolutely crack musicians who are playing music influenced by Ornette Coleman, a musician who, in the 60s, led the move from structured jazz towards free playing, and you'll see exactly what that means when the band begins. This is Tom Rivière's Family Band. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another of Jazz North's Northern Line presentations at the Manchester Jazz Festival. The Manchester Jazz Festival, you probably know, is one of 17 festivals that take place around the north of England. And if you ever need to check out where they are and which month they run in, this leaflet, which is scattered around the place, is very, very useful. You may be tempted to travel after you've heard what you're about to experience now. In fact, I'd like to tempt you to travel, because I'm promoter for Wakefield Jazz. Amazingly, a club, not a festival, a club which runs in Wakefield, just a short hop across the Pennines by train. It runs from October the 7th every Friday, and of course Wakefield's worth a visit because of the Hepworth Art Gallery and the Yorkshire Sculpture Park just outside the town, and it's a very much revived town anyway. So come at the weekend, start on Friday night at Wakefield Jazz, where you might even be lucky enough to come on the night that these guys are playing sometime next year. Anyway, enough from me. This is a band led by a bass player, and it's a band with no chordal instrument, no piano, no guitar, so it needs to have a really great bass player at its foundation. Luckily, that's not the only great musician it consists of. This is a band full of absolutely crack musicians who are playing music influenced by Ornette Coleman, a musician who, in the 60s, led the move from structured jazz towards free playing, and you'll see exactly what that means when the band begins. This is Tom Rivière's Family Band. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what an exciting band! On the drums, Steve Hanley. Trumpet, Macari. Tenor saxophone, Stone-Lonergan. Tom Rivière on bass. The trumpet band.
I just need to, a small item of housekeeping, I'm afraid, to retain your attention for 3 seconds. There's been a potentially very valuable piece of lost property handed in. If anyone was at the Maya Booger concert in the church just about an hour
Hey, how about that? That was it. That was our first performance. Has been streamed across the internet to Honolulu at 4 o'clock in the morning, or wherever it was you've been listening. And I'm here in the studio with Magdalena. So Magdalena, how was that for you?
I'm definitely looking forward for more, and I just absolutely like the idea that you can listen anywhere you are. By the way, let us know where you are. What's the weather like? What are you up to? Are you preparing your breakfast, or maybe it's your last meal of the day now, or maybe a night snack actually? How do you like this idea anyway?
I think that's really cool. Hey, and imagine, because if everyone's got camera phones, but take a picture. So wherever you are right now listening, send us a picture. Oh, and do you remember there used to be like extreme ironing? Do you ever hear about that? Oh no, we don't want to encourage this, but they did this thing where people got pictures of themselves doing the ironing, like rock climbing or skydiving and all these things. So don't do extreme ironing, but do extreme jazz listening. So send us a photograph of where you are right now at 8 o'clock in the morning, or if you're at here, so another time zone, or at 4 o'clock, maybe it's 4 o'clock in the morning in Rio and you're listening and you're doing something really, you're having what do you have at 4 o'clock in the morning in Rio? A late night or an early morning?
Probably, yeah. Something between, yeah. Like a second party or third party, actually. In Rio, it's always a party, right? I think so.
Absolutely. And another thing, while the video was playing, Magdalena was asking me, she was asking about jazz, and we're thinking about, well, how do we describe, she's saying, well, how do we describe jazz? Well, what do you had some questions for me about this, really.
Well, I would I rather have questions about Jazz North and Northern Online, about the very selection, because this is like you're the chef and you just prepared this menu for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday from 2nd to the 6th of May, and this is your specials.
So all the artists, it was an open application scheme, so any musician in the north of England could just go online, fill in an application form, very simple, and they had to give us 3 links to audio tracks. And also this year, because you have to write about who you are, what you've done in the past, what your aspirations are for the future. But we said, let's make it really easy. The musicians could just make a video with their phone and just give us 2 minutes of a video to present yourselves. So that was another new initiative this year. So then we get the applications in and we put together a panel of musical experts. Now we don't want it all to be just promoters. I think the most important thing is the ears, the listening. So we pick 3 or 4 international level musicians, and preferably who don't live in the north, so there's no conflict of interests. And so they're on the panel, and then we have festival directors. There's myself and my job share colleague Steve Mead, artistic director of the Manchester Jazz Festival, so we're on that.
So this really looks like a very sophisticated and fine selected menu.
Well, absolutely, yes, you're right. And it was chosen very carefully because we didn't want to have not everything as a main course, not too much spaghetti, or not too much,
Gravy.
Yeah, not too much gravy. So with the roster, we were trying to get like a real balance. And also it's a challenge for us because people say, what is jazz? And I don't know the answer to that. I know what I like, but so what we try to do with Jazz North and Northern Line is Jazz North's opportunity to show what we think comes under the world of jazz. But the key points for me, that there's excitement, there's improvisation, there's interplay between the musicians. They're never quite sure what's going to happen. They're being really creative. And also what's really important, these are musicians who are really, they're being honest, they're true to their heart and what they want to do. It's not an artifice, it's stuff that matters to them in their life, and we want to support them to do that. So as a chef though, so for this week I can be a chef, and so on a food kind of angle, so we're about to sign off and you're going to go back to your day because it's only 8 o'clock in the morning. Oh no, it's a bit later than that now, 9 o'clock now. So our next showcase slot is at 1 o'clock, and that's going to be...
For instance, this is a perfect time for a lunch in Lisbon.
Good lunch in Lisbon, absolutely. And or it could be at that time
2 p.m. in Amsterdam, for instance, or Jerusalem, and 3 p.m. in Istanbul or Bucharest, 4 p.m. in Dubai.
And good old Rio, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. So Rio, you're up now, that's brilliant, so glad you're with us. So Firebird Quartet, it's a really great band. It's sophisticated contemporary jazz underpinned by solid pure swing and rooted in the melodic jazz of the 60s and 70s, the present day.
Yeah, I've heard that they don't mind people tapping the feet while they're playing.
That's absolutely right, Magdalena. Hey, so look guys, thanks so much for joining us right now. We're going to sign off now, but please do come back and join us at 1 o'clock. And we're here for the rest of the week. So see you later. Bye.
See you later.